The galaxy was on fire. Stars blinked out one by one as ancient empires collapsed under the weight of endless wars. The universe seemed to be unraveling, consumed by forces no one could fully understand. Against this backdrop of chaos, a small fleet of alien ships emerged from hyperspace near Earth's outer colonies. These ships were battered, and their hulls scorched black from countless battles. They limped through space like wounded animals seeking shelter. Inside these ships were beings unlike anything humanity had ever encountered before. Their bodies shimmered with faint bioluminescent glows, and their eyes, large, dark, and filled with fear, spoke volumes about the horrors they had endured. These aliens called themselves the Alliance, survivors of a genocidal campaign waged by their former rulers, the Dominion. Now, they sought help from humanity, a species known across the stars for its resilience and ability to survive against all odds. Their destination was peculiar, the Armada. It was a sprawling collection of orbital habitats that orbited Luna, Earth's toxic moon. Humanity had built these stations centuries ago when Earth became too dangerous to live on. Toxic storms ravaged the planet, mutated creatures roamed freely, and resources dwindled to almost nothing. But instead of giving up, humanity adapted. They turned their dying world into a fortress, using every ounce of ingenuity to survive. Over time, Earth earned a reputation as a death trap, a place where life itself seemed engineered to kill. Yet, it was precisely this reputation that drew the here. When the alien ships entered human-controlled space, alarms blared across the Armada. Defense grids powered up, weapons locked onto the newcomers, and communication channels crackled with tension. Captain stood at the center of the command bridge aboard Erebus Spire, the largest station in the Armada. Her sharp green eyes scanned the screens displaying the alien fleet. She clenched her jaw tightly, weighing her options. "They're broadcasting a message," said Lieutenant Drake, standing beside her. His voice was calm but carried an edge of urgency. He had seen enough battles to know that appearances could be deceiving. "Should we patch it through?" "Not at once. Let's hear what they want." The screen flickered, and an image appeared. It showed one of the aliens, a tall, slender being with translucent skin and glowing veins. Its voice came through in halting yet clear galactic standard, the universal language of trade and diplomacy. "We request asylum," the alien said, its words slow and deliberate. "We are survivors. Our worlds have been destroyed. We seek refuge among you." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Asylum? From aliens? This was unprecedented. Humanity had always been isolated, content to fight its own battles without interference from outsiders. And now these strangers, these desperate refugees, were asking for sanctuary on Earth's doorstep. Drake leaned closer to, "Captain, do you think this is legit, or is it some kind of trap?" Didn't answer immediately. Instead, she studied the alien closely. Its posture was stiff, its movements cautious. There was no arrogance or demand in its tone, only desperation. "If it's a trap," she finally said, "then we'll deal with it accordingly. But I don't think so. Look at them. They're running scared." On another screen, data streamed in about the alien ships. Scans revealed damaged engines, depleted energy reserves, and minimal armaments. Whatever these beings were, they weren't spoiling for a fight. Still, knew better than to let her guard down entirely. She activated the comms system and addressed the alien directly. "You claim to need asylum," she began, her voice firm and commanding. "Why come to us? Why choose our territory?" The alien hesitated as if searching for the right words. "Because of your reputation. You endure. Even in the harshest conditions, you survive. We believe if anyone can protect us, it is you." Felt a pang of pride mixed with unease. Humanity's reputation as survivors was well-earned, but it also made them targets. Other species often saw humans as either threats or tools to exploit. Allowing these aliens into the Armada would invite scrutiny, and possibly danger, from powers far greater than the. She turned to her officers. Get me the council. We need to discuss this immediately." Within hours, representatives from across the Armada gathered in the council chamber. Holographic displays showed images of the alien fleet alongside reports detailing their condition. Arguments erupted almost instantly. Some argued that granting asylum was the moral thing to do. Others insisted it was too risky, pointing out that humanity already had enough problems without adding alien refugees to the mix. "This isn't just about morality," shouted Counselor Rhea Vance, slamming her fist on the table. "If we take them in, we're making enemies of whoever's hunting them. Do we really need more enemies?" "And if we turn them away," countered Counselor Harrow, his voice quieter but no less passionate. "What does that say about us? That we'd abandon those in need because we're afraid? Isn't that exactly what everyone accuses us of doing?" Listened silently, weighing both sides. Finally, she stepped forward, drawing everyone's attention. "Listen to me," she said, her tone leaving no room for argument. "Yes, taking them in carries risks, but turning them away carries consequences too. If word gets out that we refused asylum to a group of innocent beings, how long do you think it'll take for others to see us as cowards, as monsters? Is that the legacy we want to leave behind?" Her words struck a chord. Slowly, the council members began nodding. One by one, they agreed to grant the temporary asylum, but only under strict conditions. They would be housed in designated zones within the Armada, monitored constantly, and required to contribute to the community in meaningful ways. Most importantly, they would be expected to integrate quickly or face expulsion. With the decision made, returned to the bridge and opened a channel to the alien fleet. "You have our answer," she said. "We will grant you asylum for now. But understand this, staying safe within our borders won't come without cost. You'll follow our rules, work alongside us, and prove yourselves worthy of our trust. Do you accept?" The alien leader bowed its head slightly, a gesture of respect. "We accept. Thank you for giving us a chance." As the transmission ended, exhaled deeply. She couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of something much larger. The arrival of the marked a turning point, not just for the Armada, but for humanity itself. Whether it would lead to salvation or destruction remained to be seen. For now, though, there was work to do. Refugees needed shelter, supplies needed rationing, and defenses needed strengthening. Whatever challenges lay ahead, knew one thing for certain: humanity would face them head-on, just as they always had. The refugees began settling into their new home aboard the sprawling station city of Erebus Spire. For many of them, it was both a relief and a challenge. The Armada had been built for survival, not comfort. Its corridors were narrow and dimly lit, its walls from years of repairs and makeshift upgrades. Air filtration systems hummed constantly, working overtime to keep breathable air circulating through the overcrowded habitats. To those who came from worlds rich with lush forests and open skies, this place felt suffocating. Ambassador, the leader of the delegation, tried his best to reassure his people. "We are safe here," he told them during one of their gatherings. "For the first time in cycles, we can rest without fear of attack. This is a gift we must cherish." But rest did not come easily. Many of them struggled to adapt to the harsh conditions of human habitation zones. Their bodies, accustomed to cleaner air and gentler gravity, reacted poorly to the recycled atmosphere and artificial environments. Some fell ill, requiring medical attention that stretched the already strained resources of the Armada. Others grew restless, unable to find purpose in a society so different from their own. Tensions between humans began to rise. Human workers grumbled about having to share limited supplies with outsiders. Rumors spread among the crew that the aliens might be spies or saboteurs sent by some unknown enemy. Even those who wanted to help found themselves frustrated by cultural misunderstandings. A simple gesture of greeting from a human, a firm handshake, was misinterpreted by them as aggressive posturing, leading to awkward confrontations. Lieutenant Drake, assigned by Captain to oversee integration efforts, found himself caught in the middle of it all. He spent long hours walking through the alien quarters, trying to bridge the gap between the two groups. At first, progress was slow. They were wary of him, seeing him as just another representative of the species holding their fate in its hands. But over time, Drake's patience paid off. He learned to listen more than he spoke, asking questions instead of making assumptions. One day, while touring a section of the station reserved for housing, Drake met Ambassador face to face. The alien leader stood taller than most of his kind, his shimmering skin glowing softly in the dim light. His large, dark eyes studied Drake carefully before he finally spoke. "You are the one overseeing our integration," said, his tone neutral but tinged with curiosity. Drake nodded. "That's right, my name's Drake. I'm here to make sure things go smoothly for both sides." Tilted his head slightly, a gesture that seemed to convey both skepticism and interest. "And what do you hope to achieve?" "I want us to work together," Drake replied honestly. "I know things aren't perfect right now, but if we don't figure out how to get along, we'll end up tearing each other apart. That benefits no one." To Drake's surprise, smiled faintly. "You speak plainly. I appreciate that. Tell me, Lieutenant, why does your kind endure such hardships? Why cling to life in a place like this?" Drake hesitated, unsure how to answer. Finally, he shrugged. "Because we have to, because giving up isn't an option. You'd understand if you'd seen what we've been through." His expression softened. "Perhaps I do understand better than you think. We too have endured much. Our once beautiful, filled with life and hope. Then they came. They took everything from us, our freedom, our dignity, even our ability to dream of a better future. We fled because we had no choice. Like you, we cling to life because it is all we have left." Something shifted in Drake at that moment. For the first time, he saw them not as strangers or burdens, but as survivors, just like humanity. They weren't so different after all. As days turned into weeks, small signs of cooperation began to emerge. Human engineers worked alongside technicians to repair damaged sections of the station. Children from both species played together in communal areas, laughing despite the language barrier. Slowly, trust started to grow. But not everyone shared Drake's optimism. Radical elements within both camps began plotting against the fragile alliance. Among the humans, a faction led by Counselor Rhea Vance viewed these as liabilities. "They're using us," she argued during a private meeting with her followers. "Once they've recovered, they'll betray us. Mark my words." Vance's group began spreading misinformation, claiming they were hoarding supplies and secretly communicating with their enemies. Meanwhile, a few extremists, distrustful of humanity's intentions, sabotaged equipment and spread rumors of their own. Accidents became more frequent, power outages, structural failures, even minor fires. Each incident fueled suspicion on both sides. Captain watched the growing unrest with mounting concern. She called Drake into her office one evening, her expression grim. "I need you to tell me straight. Are we losing control of this situation?" Drake sighed heavily. "It's bad, Captain. People are scared, and scared people make mistakes. If something doesn't change soon, I think we'll see open conflict." Leaned back in her chair, rubbing her temples. "Then we need to act fast. What do you suggest?" Drake thought for a moment. "We need to show both sides that we're stronger together than apart. Maybe organize a joint project, something big enough to prove we can work as a team." Nodded slowly. "A demonstration of unity, I like it. Make it happen and do it quickly. Time isn't on our side." Over the next few days, Drake worked tirelessly to bring his idea to life. With support, he proposed a plan to upgrade the Armada's aging hydroponics bay. The possessed advanced biotechnology capable of accelerating plant growth, which could significantly boost food production. By combining their knowledge with human engineering skills, they hoped to create a sustainable solution that benefited everyone. The project drew volunteers from both species, eager to contribute to something meaningful. As they worked side by side, barriers began to break down. Humans marveled at the efficiency of biotech, while the aliens expressed admiration for humanity's ingenuity in adapting to such harsh conditions. Conversations flowed more freely, laughter replaced tension, and friendships formed where none had existed before. But even as progress was made, shadows loomed closer. To anyone, Counselor Vance and her followers had infiltrated the project, planting devices designed to sabotage the system. Their goal was clear: to discredit thee and force them out of the Armada once and for all. Late one night, as the final stages of the hydroponics upgrade neared completion, disaster struck. An explosion rocked the bay, sending debris flying and injuring several workers. Panic erupted as alarms blared and emergency teams rushed to contain the damage. Drake arrived moments later, his heart pounding. Smoke filled the air and the acrid smell of burned metal stung his nostrils. Through the chaos, he spotted helping injured to safety. The ambassador locked eyes with Drake, his expression grim. "This was no accident," said firmly. "Someone meant to destroy what we've built." Drake clenched his fists, anger boiling inside him. "I know, and I'll find out who's responsible." With backing, Drake launched an investigation into the explosion. Evidence pointed directly to Vance and her group, who were swiftly arrested and removed from power. The incident served as a wake-up call for the entire Armada. It forced everyone, human and alike, to confront the dangers of division and mistrust. In the aftermath, addressed the population, her voice carrying over every speaker in the station. "What happened here today proves one thing: we cannot afford to let fear drive us apart. Whether we are human or we share the same goal: to survive, to thrive, and to protect what matters most. From this moment forward, we stand united. Together, we will face whatever challenges come our way." Her words resonated deeply, strengthening the bond between the two species. Though challenges remained, the foundation for true cooperation had been laid. Humanity and the had taken their first steps toward becoming allies, not just in name, but in spirit. For now, peace prevailed. But beyond the stars, darker forces stirred, watching and waiting for their chance to strike. The fragile peace aboard the Armada was shattered when a chilling transmission reached Captain's command center. The message came from deep space, carried on frequencies that only the Dominion used. It was short, cold, and unmistakably threatening. "Return them to us," the voice growled, distorted but clear. "They are property of the Dominion. If you refuse, we will take them by force and leave nothing behind." Felt her stomach tighten as she replayed the message. They were coming. She had heard stories about them, monstrous beings who ruled through fear and destruction, enslaving entire species and erasing civilizations without mercy. Now they were headed straight for humanity's doorstep. The news spread quickly across the Armada. Panic rippled through both humans and alike. For the refugees, it was a nightmare come true. Many of them had barely escaped the once. The thought of facing them again left them paralyzed with fear. Ambassador sought out immediately, his usually calm demeanor replaced by desperation. "You must send us away," he pleaded. "If they find us here, they will destroy you too. We cannot allow that to happen." Shook her head firmly. "No, you're under our protection now. Running won't solve anything. Besides, where would you go? There's nowhere safe for you out there." Hesitated, his glowing eyes searching hers. "Then what do you propose we do? Fight them? With what? Your ships are outdated, your weapons insufficient. The fleet will crush you." Didn't deny the truth in his words. The Armada's defenses were stretched thin, its ships relics of older wars patched together with salvaged parts. But humanity had faced impossible odds before and survived. That stubborn determination burned brightly in his chest. "We'll find a way," she said simply. "But we can't do it alone. We need your help." Frowned, confused. "Our help? What could we possibly offer?" Turned to Lieutenant Drake, who stood nearby. He nodded, understanding her unspoken request. Together, they explained the plan. The possessed advanced biotechnology capable of regenerating entire ecosystems. If they could use that technology to terraform sections of Luna, the toxic moon orbiting Earth, they might be able to turn it into a fortress unlike anything they had ever faced. It's risky, Drake admitted. Terraforming takes time and we don't have much of it, but if we succeed, we'll give ourselves a fighting chance. Listened silently, weighing the proposal. Finally, he spoke. Using our biocores for this purpose, it will leave my people vulnerable. Without them, we cannot heal or sustain ourselves as we normally would. I know, said, and I wouldn't ask unless it was absolutely necessary. But think about it. If we lose this fight, none of us will survive, not you, not us. This is our best shot. After a long pause, nodded. Very well, we will help you, but I warn you, if we fail, my people will pay the price. With the decision made, work began immediately. Teams of human engineers and biologists collaborated around the clock, integrating the aliens' biotech with human machinery. The process was painstaking and fraught with challenges. The biocores were delicate, requiring precise calibration to function properly in the harsh environment of Luna. Mistakes led to setbacks, forcing everyone to adapt quickly. Despite the difficulties, progress was steady. Green patches began appearing on the moon's barren surface, spreading like veins across gray rock. Hardy plants grew rapidly, their roots stabilizing the soil while releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. Tiny organisms bred within the biocores exponentially, forming the foundation of a new ecosystem. Slowly but surely, life returned to the dead world. While the terraforming project unfolded, tensions simmered among the population. Not everyone supported the alliance with the. Some humans resented having to rely on alien technology, viewing it as a sign of weakness. Others feared that using the biocores would weaken the Armada's defenses further. These dissenting voices grew louder, fueled by rumors and misinformation. One evening, as Drake oversaw operations in the hydroponics bay, he noticed a group of workers whispering urgently near a storage compartment. Suspicious, he approached them cautiously. When they saw him, they scattered, leaving behind a small device connected to one of the biocore units. Drake examined the device closely. It was rigged to overload the core, causing catastrophic damage to the entire system. Whoever planted it clearly wanted to sabotage the project and blamed them for it. Furious, Drake reported the incident too. This isn't just random vandalism, he told her. Someone's trying to drive a wedge between us and the. If this had gone off, it would destroyed everything we've worked for. His jaw tightened. Find out who's behind this, and make sure the rest of the cores are secure. Drake doubled security measures around the biocores, enlisting trusted members of both species to monitor them constantly. Still, the threat lingered, casting a shadow over the otherwise hopeful mood. As the days passed, intelligence reports confirmed the worst. The fleet was closing in fast. Images captured by long-range sensors showed a massive armada of sleek, menacing ships bristling with weapons. Among them were experimental vessels equipped with planet-destroying cannons, devices designed to obliterate entire worlds in seconds. They mean business, Drake muttered as he reviewed the data. If they get close enough to fire those cannons, we're done for. Stared at the screen, her mind racing. Then we hit them first, hard. She devised a daring strategy. Using guerrilla tactics honed through centuries of battling Earth's lethal wildlife, human pilots would harass the supply lines, buying precious time for the terraforming project to reach completion. Meanwhile, the newly formed hybrid weapons created by combining biotech with human engineering would provide an edge in direct combat. Ambassador volunteered to lead a team of fighters despite his lack of military experience. We owe you everything, he told. It is only right that we stand beside you in battle. Accepted his offer, knowing every fighter counted. Together, humans and prepared for the fight of their lives. When they finally arrived, the skies above Luna lit up with explosions. Human ships darted through enemy formations, striking swiftly and retreating before they could be targeted. Their agility and unpredictability frustrated the whose larger vessels struggled to keep up. Meanwhile, ground-based defenses unleashed barrages of hybrid projectiles, tearing through enemy shields with devastating efficiency. The battle raged for hours, neither side gaining a decisive advantage. Then something extraordinary happened. The newly terraformed sections of Luna sprang to life, unleashing swarms of bioengineered predators upon the invaders. These creatures, part plant, part animal, were ferocious and relentless, attacking anything that moved. They overwhelmed landing parties, driving them back to their ships in disarray. Seeing the chaos unfold, seized the opportunity. "Now," she shouted into the comms, "hit them with everything we've got." The combined forces of humanity and the launched a final assault, targeting the heart of the fleet. Explosions rocked the void as ships on both sides were torn apart. Amidst the carnage, hope flickered like a flame in the darkness. When the dust settled, the fleet retreated, battered and broken. Though victory was far from complete, the defenders had proven one thing beyond doubt: the Armada was no easy target. Exhausted but triumphant, addressed her crew and allies. "Today, we showed the galaxy what happens when humans stand together. Let this be a lesson to anyone who dares threaten us. We endure. No matter the odds, no matter the cost, we endure." Her words echoed through the station, filling hearts with pride and determination. For the first time in what felt like forever, there was reason to believe that survival wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. But even as celebrations began, knew the war was far from over. They would return, stronger and angrier than before. Until then, humanity had to prepare for the next battle and the one after that. For now, though, they had earned a moment of peace, and sometimes that was enough. The battle above Luna had ended, but its scars ran deep. The Armada was battered, its ships and stations showing signs of heavy damage. Fire smoldered in sections of the habitats, smoke lingering in corridors that once bustled with activity. Bodies, both human and lay, wrapped in shrouds, waiting to be honored in solemn ceremonies. Thousands had perished in the fight against their sacrifices etched into the collective memory of those who remained. Captain stood on the observation deck of Erebus Spire, staring out at the wreckage floating silently in space. The view filled her with a mix of pride and sorrow. Pride because humanity had stood together and driven back an enemy far greater than themselves. Sorrow because the cost of that victory weighed heavily on her shoulders. She clenched her fists tightly, reminding herself that grief would have to wait. There was still work to do. Below her, on Luna, the terraformed sections continued to thrive. Plants stretched toward the artificial sunlight, their roots anchoring the soil firmly. Bioengineered creatures roamed freely, patrolling the landscape for any remaining threats. The moon that had once been a symbol of death and desolation was now a testament to resilience, a living fortress born from unity. But the victory was not without consequences. Many of the biocores which had been used to power the terraforming process were severely depleted. Without them, the newly created ecosystem risked collapsing. Ambassador approached later that day, his movements slower than usual, his glowing skin dimmed by exhaustion. "The cores are failing," he said bluntly. "If we cannot replenish them soon, everything we've built here will be lost." Nodded grimly, she had already anticipated this problem. "We'll find a way to fix it, we always do." Hesitated, his large eyes searching hers. "At what cost? Every action has a price. Are you prepared to pay it?" Before could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Lieutenant Drake rushed onto the bridge moments later, his face pale. "Captain, we've got trouble. Rogue elements within the Armada are moving against us." "What do you mean?" demanded, her voice sharp. Drake explained quickly. A faction of human officers, led by Counselor Rhea Vance, who had been arrested earlier for sabotage, had escaped custody during the chaos of the battle. Now, They were rallying support among disenchanted crew members, spreading lies about the being responsible for the high casualty count. Their goal was clear: seize control of the remaining biocores and abandon the Alliance altogether. They're planning to storm the storage bay where the cores are kept, Drake added. If they succeed, they'll cripple our defenses and possibly destroy this trust in us forever. His jaw tightened. Not on my watch. She ordered an immediate lockdown of the affected areas and mobilized loyal troops to intercept the rogue faction. At the same time, she sent word too, urging him to keep his people calm. The last thing they needed was panic spreading among them. The confrontation unfolded in the narrow corridors of Erebus Spire. Vance and her followers, armed with makeshift weapons, clashed with forces. Sparks flew as energy blasts ricocheted off metal walls, and shouts echoed through the confined spaces. Despite their determination, the rogue faction was outnumbered and outmatched. One by one, they were subdued, their rebellion crushed before it could escalate further. Vance herself was captured near the storage bay, her weapon still smoking from the fight. She glared defiantly as she was dragged away. "You think this changes anything?" she spat. "You're playing with fire, Captain. Sooner or later they will betray us, and when they do, you'll wish you listened to me." Didn't respond. Instead, she turned her attention to securing the biocores, ensuring they were protected from future threats. Then she called a meeting with Drake and to discuss their next steps. "We can't let fear divide us," said firmly. Vance was wrong about just like she was wrong about everything else. If we start doubting each other now, we might as well hand ourselves over to the... Drake nodded in agreement. "She's right. We need to show everyone human and that we're stronger together. That means addressing the core issue. How do we stabilize the terraforming project without draining the biocores completely?" Stepped forward, his expression thoughtful. "There may be another way. My people have legends of ancient technology buried beneath the surface of Luna. It is said to harness energy directly from the planet itself. If we can locate it, we might be able to use it to sustain the ecosystem." Raised an eyebrow. "Legends, are you sure this isn't just a myth?" "It is all we have left to try," replied. "If nothing else, it gives us hope, and hope is something worth fighting for." With no better options available, agreed to the plan. Teams of humans and began scouring the moon's surface, searching for any trace of the rumored technology. Days passed with little success, testing the patience of even the most optimistic individuals. But then, during a routine excavation near the edge of the terraformed zone, something extraordinary happened. A team led by Drake uncovered a massive structure buried deep underground. Its design was unlike anything they had ever seen, smooth, metallic, and pulsating faintly with an inner light. As they examined it more closely, they realized it was some kind of generator, designed to draw energy from the moon's core. "This must be it," Drake whispered, awe evident in his voice. "This is what was talking about." News of the discovery spread quickly, reigniting morale across the Armada. Engineers worked tirelessly to interface the alien generator with the existing systems, while biologists monitored the effects on the ecosystem. Slowly but surely, the terraformed sections began stabilizing, their growth sustained by the newfound energy source. Meanwhile, tensions between humans and eased as cooperation deepened. Stories of heroism during the battle against brought the two species closer together. Humans marveled at this ability to adapt and endure, while the aliens admired humanity's ingenuity and determination. Friendships formed where mistrust had once festered, proving that unity was possible even in the face of overwhelming odds. Ambassador addressed the population during a ceremony held to honor the fallen. Standing alongside Drake, he spoke with quiet conviction. "Today, we remember those who gave their lives so that we might live. They came from different worlds, spoke different languages, and followed different paths, but in the end, they stood as one. Let their sacrifice remind us that we are stronger together than we are apart." His words resonated deeply, drawing cheers from the crowd. For the first time in what felt like ages, there was a sense of hope, not just for survival but for a brighter future. Still, shadows loomed on the horizon. Intelligence reports indicated that they were regrouping, rebuilding their fleet with terrifying speed. They would return, angrier and more determined than ever. Until then, humanity and the had to prepare for the next battle and the one after that. For now, though, they had earned a moment of peace, and sometimes that was enough. The Armada stood stronger than ever before, but its people knew better than to grow complacent. The victory against the had been hard fought, but it was only a temporary reprieve. Intelligence reports confirmed that the Dominion was rebuilding its fleet, incorporating new and deadlier technologies into their arsenal. Humanity and the would face them again, and soon. Captain spent her days preparing for the inevitable rematch. She oversaw repairs to the damaged ships, upgraded weapons systems, and coordinated training exercises to ensure every fighter was ready. But more than anything, she focused on strengthening the bond between humans and their unity had been tested time and again, and each trial had only made them stronger. Now, they needed to be unbreakable. Ambassador worked tirelessly alongside, ensuring his people remained committed to the alliance. He organized cultural exchanges, encouraging humans and to share stories, traditions, and knowledge. In one corner of Erebus Spire, human chefs taught cooks how to prepare Earth's simplest yet most satisfying meals. In another, artisans demonstrated techniques for crafting tools from biomaterials, inspiring human engineers to think differently about resource efficiency. Lieutenant Drake found himself at the heart of these efforts, bridging gaps wherever he could. His friendship with had deepened over time, transforming into a partnership built on mutual respect and trust. Together, they became symbols of what the alliance could achieve when both sides worked as one. But even as progress flourished, reminders of the looming threat kept everyone grounded. Patrols reported increased activity near the edges of human-controlled space, scouts probing for weaknesses. Every intercepted transmission carried the same message: surrender or face annihilation. "They're testing us," said during a briefing with her senior officers. "They want to see if we'll crack under pressure." Drake nodded grimly. "They won't stop until they get what they came for." "Then let's make sure they leave empty-handed," replied, her voice firm. "We've proven we can hold our ground. Now we prove we can take theirs." Her plan was bold and risky. Instead of waiting for the to attack, humanity and the would strike first. Using the ancient generator discovered beneath Luna, they developed a weapon unlike any seen before, a hybrid device capable of channeling raw planetary energy into devastating attacks. Combined with guerrilla tactics honed through years of survival, this weapon gave them a fighting chance against the larger, more advanced fleet. Preparations took weeks, with every available hand contributing to the effort. Human engineers fine-tuned the weapon's targeting systems, while biologists ensured the energy output wouldn't destabilize the ecosystem. Meanwhile, pilots trained relentlessly, mastering maneuvers designed to outwit the slower, bulkier vessels. Finally, the day arrived. Intelligence confirmed that the main fleet was gathering at a staging point just outside human territory. It was now or never. Addressed her crew and allies one last time before launching the assault. Standing on the bridge of Erebus Spire, she looked out at the faces of those who had fought so hard to protect their home. Her voice rang clear and steady. "Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for every being who has ever been oppressed by tyranny. They believe they are unstoppable. They believe fear gives them power. But they're wrong. Courage gives us power. Unity gives us strength. And together we will show them that no force in the galaxy can break us." Cheers erupted throughout the station, echoing across the void as ships prepared to launch. The combined fleet of humanity and the moved as one, slipping silently through space toward the enemy's position. When they arrived, they were waiting, but they weren't ready. The hybrid weapon unleashed its first salvo, tearing through the Dominion's flagship with a blast of pure energy. Chaos erupted as smaller ships scrambled to respond, only to find themselves outmaneuvered by human fighters darting through their ranks. Biotech disrupted communications and navigation systems, leaving the fleet disoriented and vulnerable. Still, the battle was far from easy. They fought back with ferocity, their experimental weapons carving through human defenses. Explosions lit up the darkness as ships on both sides were destroyed. Casualties mounted, and despair threatened to creep in. But then something remarkable happened. The bioengineered creatures of Luna, once created to defend the moon, were deployed into the fray. Guided by handlers, they swarmed the ships, overwhelming their crews and crippling their engines. These living weapons turned the tide of the battle, giving humanity the upper hand. As the final waves of resistance crumbled, ordered a retreat. The objective wasn't total annihilation, it was sending a message. The fleet limped away, battered and broken, their pride shattered along with their ships. Back aboard the Armada, celebrations broke out as news of the victory spread. Cheers echoed through the corridors, and tears of relief mingled with laughter. For the first time in generations, there was hope, not just for survival but for peace. In the aftermath, Ambassador addressed the survivors. Standing beside Drake, he spoke with quiet conviction. "When we fled we thought we were running from death. Instead, we found life, not just in the air we breathe or the food we eat, but in the bonds we've forged with you. You have given us a future, and in return we pledge our lives to defending it." Stepped forward, her voice carrying the weight of everything they had endured. "This victory belongs to all of us, to every human who refused to give up, to every who trusted us enough to stand beside us. We've shown the galaxy that unity isn't just possible, it's unstoppable." As the sun rose over the now verdant surface of Luna, casting light on the thriving ecosystem below, gazed toward the stars. She knew the war wasn't truly over. Somewhere in the depths of space, they watched and plotted their next move. But for now, the Armada had become more than just a haven for refugees. It was a beacon of hope, a testament to the indomitable will of those who endure death itself. And as long as humanity stood together, nothing could extinguish that light.